What up, everybody? It's me, Mr. Right, here with another deck profile to give y'all that chaos and mayhem at your card fighting areas. We got my updated Nubatama. A few things I've changed, and I've been playing CFA with this current build here, and I really do enjoy it. And again, sharing with you guys. Because sharing is caring. Anyway, 2 starters, just because counter charging is a thing, and getting rid of things is the thing I brought back from the previous build about a month ago. I do think that 2 starters is not needed, but it is a very good addition since our grade 1 calls, Afterimage calls from the top 3. So yeah. Pause the video at any point in time should you want to read what Afterimage is or what the skills do. So, now my trigger line. So, we got 4 of the heal trigger Shiranui, just because, you know, G-guarding is a thing. Not too much to explain about that. We got 2 Tobihiko and 4 Narui. This is one of the few changes that I did make on the since my last profile here, because I was running 8 crit and 4 stand. I liked it, but my rear guards would be suffering because they couldn't get big enough to pass that next guard tier. It would just be a 10k shield there, a 10k shield here, and you know, they would go on. So 4 of the Onibidoshi stand trigger because it gives other units plus 3, and it goes back into the deck. And not only that, it's not Shiranui specific, so we can definitely make use of that. And to make our regards again bigger is 2 of the old school stand triggers. Mushroom Man, you can just say Mushroom Man, but it's Mashiro Momen. So, but Mushroom Man, because goes into soul. Not only does it give us a +3, but it fuels soul, and that was one of the troubles I was having, was not enough soul at that. So he goes into soul and helps with our soul blasting costs. For the ones that really change up too much, we still are running. Still running 4 of the stride fodder because striding is quite necessary. Getting Shiranui on Vanguard Circle is just as important. And then we have 2 Fuki to help get cards out of our opponent's hand to keep them from guarding. Early game, if I'm not on Tamahagane is ideal, but if I don't have a counter blast, he's on field, counter blast 1, put him into the soul, bind a card from the opponent's hand. They have 3 or more. 4 of the early game, he's good because again, you want your Afterimage card off the field, especially your starter. So yeah, and not to mention my play with Sukumura-kan. He gets my opponent down to 2 cards to guard with, and if they're high damage in that game. I've been trying out Automata just because I needed my opponent's hand not to come back from the bind zone in the same shape it was sent to. So if I'm playing OGT or Great Nature and they put, you know, 5 cards over there, and they got 4 cards to guard with Tsukumura-kan, then at least if I have one of this in the drop zone, and then I'm boosting an attack with this card, as long as one of this is in the drop zone, I boost an attack, Soul Blast 1 of those cards gets retired, and that's good, that's what I want. So I don't want 5-6 cards go to the bind zone, and then they get 5-6 cards back, because that's not making anything worse for them. So not only that, but I do get it back to hand with Afterimage. And of course, Chikare Gumo, one of the best grade 1s with Afterimage. Helps fill my field up. with Afterimage units placed on field. Shiranui specific though. So placed on field, Soul Blast 1, top 3 for an Afterimage, call it to rear, and then shuffle your deck. So yeah. Of course, we got 4 of the boy here, Tamahagane. He is my avatar. If I were to have an avatar, he is pretty much the basis of getting that grade 2 rush off. Especially if you have a handful of Afterimage cards, being the PG, the stand trigger, the next 2 I'm about to show you. It's just too good of a card not to have at least 4 of. I wouldn't recommend anything less than. So yeah, the bound cards do return to their hand in a turn, unless you're running Kuroko or you're at Generation Break and you start killing things off with your starters. Like I said, good grade 2 rush tactic is Nibikata Bida. 4 of those. It's Shiranui specific. When you have Generation available and it's placed on rear, Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, this unit gets +3, and a chosen unit on rear circle gets +3 and Afterimage. So it's fantastic for putting that effect on Tamahagane or Yabi or Stride Follower that you called a turn earlier, and next thing you know, you pop that back to hand, and then you got Stride for next turn. Then we have 3 Miyabi, the Amber clone. When she's boosted, you have less cost on your opponent. And attacking the Vanguard, Counter Blast 1. She gets a +3 for the battle, and you get to bind the card from your opponent's hand face down. Ideally, you want to throw a 3 on her already. Then her 3 kicks in, making her a 15. Boosted with a 7 is 22. Your opponent then has to guard a 15, guard for 15 unless they want to take damage. Fantastic card. I feel 4 could be a bit cloggy, especially since you want Afterimage cards specifically. But whatever works for you, works for you. So I'm running 1 Kegare Shinmyo just because it is an Afterimage card. I don't necessarily want to ride this card, but should I be on him, it's fine. Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1 when he's placed on the band. Search top 5 for an Afterimage unit, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Of course, you show it to your opponent. When it's on rear, though, is where he really is beneficial. Placed on rear, he gives a unit on the field +3. Not himself, though, so choose one of your other units that gets +3 until the end of turn. So the end of turn is really good, especially for when we start popping off stand triggers. Running 2 of the Break Ride. 1 is SP, that one right there. They both do the same thing. I'm not going to switch them, but anyway. So Break Riding, especially if your opponent's at high damage at 4, is really good for you because it minuses your opponent's previous turn if they did get to Stride with 3 cards and they don't want to draw triggers or aren't OTT or Great Nature or anything like that. I find that this deck benefits the best when it's against it benefits against everybody, but if they have no draw mechanic or no way to get their field in order by superior calling, then this deck will eat them alive because they can't maintain hand to block everything, to guard everything. And again, the Break Ride is really good for minusing your opponent. They have to discard a card and bind the card from the hand face down. That's 2 cards out of hand. Ideally, you would definitely want to Break Ride into Shiranui, or you can Break Ride, whichever one that you choose to do, but don't play stupid. If they have 3 or less cards in hand, he gets a +2. That's hardly ever going to happen, but if it does, then hey. And of course, we got 4 Shiranui. This is the best grade 3 we've had ever in Nubatama for quite some time outside of the Break Ride. The GB2 skill is okay. It's not to be overlooked. If you attack this card and you have less cards than your opponent, it gets +5 with crit. That's cool. It causes your opponent to G-guard, BG, whatever. It's on stride skill. Counterblast one to start. Your opponent has to discard a card. You choose something on that field to bind face up. Ideally, again, break riding and then going to Shiranui and then Otago lording. Especially this is like final turn. And you go to Otago lord. That's 3 cards out of hand. 1 card that's possibly an interceptor. 2 cards they had to 2 cards that they had to get rid of. 1 is temporarily bound. If you come across your starters, you can start retiring those bound units. It is just simply too good of a card. To wrap things up, we're running 1 Sea Breeze just because getting to Generation Break is very crucial. It does eat up 2 Counterblasts, but if you are able to bind things or call out your top Mahoganes, bind your opponent's field, and play your starters, then you're going to get those counter charges back. So the Counterblast back, excuse me. So yeah, getting to Generation is definitely a thing you want to do. We have 4 of the Nubatama G-Guard. If your opponent has 6 or less cards, it gets the +5. Kind of easy to do, kind of not, depending on who you're playing. Our rear guards in the front row aren't always going to be there, so it's fine. If they are, then they're not going to be that important to guard, depending on, again, what you're facing. Alright, so we got the pairs here. We got 2 of the Afterimage Nubatama. This card here, I didn't think I would like. I haven't really been using it just because it's okay skill on hit. You choose a card from your opponent's hand and bind it face down. And if you have 3 or more Afterimage cards on the field, then your opponent chooses something that binds on to retire. This is good for if you don't have a way to bind something and you use Shiranui skill to Counterblast 1 and bind something on your opponent's field, and you played your starter to get that counter charge. Then you have nothing to. You have no other means of getting a bound card from your opponent's hand or field to the bind zone. He's a good tech in there. Of course, we got Afterimage, the on-hit discard card. I love using him on stride. Counterblast one discard card. They overguard. Then that's fine. That's more cards out of your opponent's hand. That's 3 cards they just got rid of out of hand. If he hits and your opponent takes the damage, then that's fine too. We'll get drive checks and fix that. Then we had 2 Afterimage. If your opponent has a full field, this is ideally when you want to use him when it's placed on van. Your opponent keeps 2 cards of their choosing on the field, and then binds the rest face up. So yeah, and then if there were 3 cards bound by this card's effect, your opponent has to choose 2 of the 3 bound cards and retire them. So again, this punishes your opponent for having a full field. And if 5 cards are on field, there's still 2 cards down. So yeah. Alright, so as far as my finishers are concerned, is 1 Super Moricon, GB2, when you place it on van, Counterblast 1, flip something up in your G zone, and your opponent keeps 4 cards in hand, and then binds the rest face down. So they can have half the deck in their hand, and they'll be at 5 damage. I got guard for days. Now they got like a PG, some PG fodder, maybe a heal trigger, and something else. That's ideally what people are going to go for. And then if you have the Counterblast available, Counterblast 1, your opponent has to then discard a card. Then they're going to discard that optional card. I will try to make a video of the tips and tricks that I use when I'm on this card here, and circumstances and stuff like that. So anyway, of course those bound cards go back to hand at the end of turn. And then we got the board here, Otago Lord. He really messes with your opponent because he not only takes the card out of your opponent's hand, but if your opponent has 3 or less cards, he gets a crit. So that really pressurizes your opponent into guarding. And the way I have the deck formulated, it is just a really good card to not have at least 4. Sometimes they do live through the first one. He is a persona flip, so it's highly recommended that you, if you don't want to run 4, at least run 2. So, comment, like, subscribe. Any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section. If you're watching this deck profile, Lemons or Tom P 415, or I hope I'm pronouncing it Tom. Yeah. This video is a shout out to you guys. I played one of my subscribers, newest subscribers with this deck, and he pretty much said this is now added onto his hate list. So yeah, I will try to post my card fight area videos, so y'all can see the deck in action outside of me playing against, my teammates or people at my locals.